So my story actually started off in Cardiff, Wales. So I was born overseas and my very adventurous parents emigrated to Australia at the ages of 21 and 23 to Sydney. My early years were in Sydney and then we moved to the Sunshine Coast. And then I, as being the first generation in my family to go to university, decided to put my application forms in, so I went to the school guidance officer. Knew that I wanted to study psychology, so I originally had in my head that I wanted to join the police force, so that's where that interest started from. Fortunately for me, the guidance officer misread the QTAC book and sent me to the wrong university. So I was growing up on the Sunshine Coast and could have done my studies in Brisbane, 100 kilometres from home. But at the time, the only university in Queensland to offer a Bachelor of Psychology was James Cook University, so that's what we filled in on the form, and that's where I came, and it's actually has been a complete blessing for me. I think a degree is a really important opportunity for people to take if they have that opportunity. Though I think it's more than the content that you learn. You know, you learn how to learn, you learn so many different things. It provides you with opportunities, you make connections, you meet people, you wonder about the world, you know, it opens up possibilities for you. So I think it's that foundation, if you like, for wherever the rest of your life might take you. I was coming through university at a time when there was a branch within psychology that moved itself from trying to assist people who were dealing with dysfunction, people who were struggling, which is all an incredibly important contribution that psychology's made for people in terms of taking people who aren't doing so well and getting them to a point where they're functioning well. And so what positive psychology aims to do is look at north of neutral. So, you know, what happens when things go right? What happens when people want to achieve? What happens when people want to succeed? What happens when we want to look at concepts like love and happiness and kindness and leadership and those sorts of things? So because my interests lay in the sport domain, the linking with positive psychology, even though that linking wasn't so prominent then, it just made sense to me. So there were some fairly critical works that occurred while I was in my undergraduate degree, so it allowed me then in my fourth year when I did honours to step straight into that territory, and that's where my career's really been firmly based ever since. The big shift was probably the Cowboys coming to town in 1995. So I started with the team in 1996. It was an interesting time for me because I was actually the same vintage as the players. So I went in quite, I went in quite naively, and because of that, that's why I did it. I've been the only psychologist that's ever held that role within the team. So it's been a real blessing to work with the team and see the transitions over the years as they've embraced sports psychology as part of their sports science approach. But I think that there has been a much broader acceptance by the community about the skills that the profession of psychology can offer. And I think as a community there's more recognition of the positive psychology element, so it's about people thriving and achieving and flourishing. So there's that. And also I think though too, for when people are struggling, you know, we see a lot more social acceptance around, hey, I'm not doing so well, I need some help. I had the courage to go and do something about it.